Okay, hello again, everybody. I just wanted to do a quick little breakdown here. Well, not really quick. I mean, this could go on for a while. It all depends on how I feel about this. But I've been seeing a lot of stuff locally, uh, this side of the river, the other side of the river, down in Cali and whatnot, about security guards and jobs doing security. Well, as somebody who's worked several different gigs as security guard and I've done a lot of this stuff, there is a big, big thing that could really change the industry and help. I mean, help a lot of companies that have issues with, you know, criminals, theft, vandalism, you name it. And that is courtesy patrol. See, as a security guard, as you can see here and all this stuff here, uh, what is happening here is to be an armed security guard, you have to look up the state requirements, which is usually guard card. You have to be sponsored by a company that wants to hire you, and they're the ones that help put in paperwork to get your guard card and whatnot. You have to meet these requirements. Basically, you know, having reached 18, typically 21, holding the status of a legal citizen, eligibility to work in the United States, non-use of illegal drugs, high school diploma, ability to pass drug test and everything. Then you decide who you want to work for. See, this thing is kind of backwards because you can't get a license without sponsorship because they won't just accept you into guard card class without that sponsorship. So you have to know who you want to work for beforehand, and then they are the ones that go, yes, we're putting them through the class and whatnot. You pass your unarmed guard card class, which is like an 8-hour training course. Like here in Arizona, it's 8 hours. And then you have to go through, if you want to be an armed guard, you have to complete a state firearms training course to prove proficiency in the firearm. And then you go through all these other steps. And then here's like all the training stuff, like 18, no violent felony convictions, sound mind, GED, high school diploma, and like Arizona. It says here in Arizona, while you do not need a license if you work for a company who directly pays you for your security guard services, however, if you're working for an agency that assigns security work for a variety of companies, you must hold a license. To obtain a license, you have to complete an 8-hour training program approved by the state, submit your fingerprints, complete the application, and have a security guard agency who secures work for you fill out a special section within the application form. See, you go through a lot of stuff to become a security guard. You have to go through hours of training, what the do's and don'ts, how to, basically how to walk around a facility and check doors, how to walk around and greet people and like halt, who goes there type bullshit. Now, for those of us who have served in the military, we know all these things. We know the ins and outs. We know about firearms. We know about securing facilities. It was drilled into us. Now, here's the trick. If you want to work for a company as a security guard, you have to go through all this training, right? Not really. See, in every state, there's a thing called courtesy patrol. Courtesy patrol is an employee of the business who is basically told, okay, you're not here to check out anybody, you're not here to help anybody find clothing, you're not here to, you know, show people around, you're not here to, you know, trim trees or anything. You are here to make sure that our equipment doesn't get damaged or stolen. That is your job. And under courtesy patrol, you can carry without needing a license. You can work as a courtesy patrol officer and just, you know, walk around. You secure doors, you check gates, you check lights. A lot of apartment complexes have what is called a courtesy patrol. They'll walk around like apartment complexes, checking light bulbs and fixtures. They'll notate any kind of graffiti, and they'll do the job of a security guard. But they don't need a special license for it. And like that license, you have to update it. You have to go in. You have to take training courses, and this all costs money. It'll either cost the company money or it'll cost you money. Now, if more companies switched from security to courtesy, then these companies would save money. They literally save a lot of money because you can hire on, you know, 5 courtesy patrol people for the price of like 2 or 3 security guards. You don't have to do all this other stuff. You can do like a regular background check. You can do all the in-house stuff that is necessary. See, with an armed guard or a regular security guard, you have to have what's called liability insurance, because if anything happens, the security company or the security guard or the company that has hired the security guard can be found liable. If you're hiring an armed security guard, your rates go up. Now, if you have a courtesy patrol, even if that courtesy patrol is armed, you still pay the liability and get the liability, but your premiums are way lower because that person is just a regular employee. They just happen to fall under a different subset of rules and regulations. And those rules and regulations are, if that person is old enough and can pass a background check to get a firearm and knows how to use that firearm, they can use that firearm, carry it, and walk around and work with it as long as the company allows it. Another thing about courtesy patrols is you could have, say the homeowners association in your neighborhood. Say you have like your neighborhood, and that same homeowners association is actually connected to other neighborhoods. Like say you've got 5 neighborhoods in your city, and the homeowners association controls all 5 at the same time. You can have courtesy patrol officers like drive from one to the other, to the other, to the other, to the other, and they can be armed, unarmed. They could do anything, you know, security related, but they don't need a guard card. You don't need any of that as long as it is an association and it's come into a business. A realtor's office can hire on an employee called a courtesy employee, and that courtesy employee would be basically the security for all the locations. Like, they work for the realtor's office, but they go check the houses that are for sale that have nobody in them. They go around checking them, making sure all the windows are closed and locked, and doors are closed and locked, and making sure nobody broke in. They check all the properties. They go through and you just go, okay, here's this place, this place, this place. Checked it all. And they can be armed, they can be unarmed. say a realtor has to show a house but doesn't feel quite safe enough, that realtor can go and call up the courtesy officer. The courtesy officer will show up. They'll be there just in case and be like, okay, this is the courtesy officer. They maintain, the security of the premises while it's on the market. That way, if you're buying the house and something gets damaged, they're there to make notes of it, so it can be covered by insurance. It lowers some places, not all, some places it lowers your insurance premium because you have that on hand. You could do this for large businesses, like if you got chain stores. Say you got like 10 gas stations. You got 10 gas stations. Okay, you want courtesy patrol that'll go from gas station to gas station, hourly or whatever, or every like hour and a half they'll show up to a gas station, check in on the employees, make sure things are okay. You could do these things. You don't need the guard card for this. You don't need special training for this. Now, a step up for courtesy patrol is if the business wants to, they could take that employee out to a range, and that employee has to put 10 rounds in a spot like this from 25 feet or whatever, just to show that they're proficient enough for it to happen. I mean, there are so many different steps that you have to take to get a guard card, but you don't have to go through nearly half, hell, not even a third of the steps just to be courtesy patrol. You can still wear the polos, you can still wear a security vest, you can still wear a security uniform, but you're not really security, you're courtesy. And you do it as a courtesy to the company and to the employees, because you're at work and you're struggling with some bad apple at your work, and they're causing a scene. Courtesy patrol can get rid of that person. You can remain at your station doing whatever you do for your work. The courtesy patrol takes the person outside. Anything happens, the courtesy patrol calls up, hey, 911, I'm a courtesy patrol officer for Farts Unlimited, and I've got this person here won't leave, and they're harassing the employees. Can you send an officer? Officer shows up. That just gets put on the report, and the courtesy officer gets a report number, files it in their reports. I mean, it is so far above it. I mean, there are so many state and federal regulations for security guards that it's ridiculous. There was a time in this country where if you wanted to be a security guard, you get hired on from the company hires you on, the company trains you, the company pays you. Now, you want to be a security guard, the company hires you, the company sends you to a state agency, the state agency teaches you, tests you, grades you, it goes through all the bells and whistles that the company already went through. Then you go back to the company, get your uniforms and everything, and then the company has to teach you again their way of doing things. And it's ridiculous. You're putting all these state and federal regulations on something that should be regulated by the company itself. And that's where courtesy patrols come in. Because you look online, and courtesy patrols, it always talks about apartment complexes. And it's like, an apartment complex is one thing. It is a residential area. It's a private business, but also that can fall in line with, you know, marijuana grow ops, farms, uh, malls. I mean, hell, you hire you hire 10 courtesy officers for a mall, and that mall, they can have armed guards, they can have unarmed guards, whatever their pick is, and that employee then protects the mall as if it was their own business and their own property. See, a security guard, they get paid to take care of the property, but they only get paid for whatever their listed obligation is. Like if they're hired to check doorways and do patrols, that's all they're getting hired. They're gonna do. They don't care about what happens in the store. They don't care about the employees of the little stores that are inside the mall. They don't care about any of that. Courtesy patrol works for the people in the mall and works for each individual store. That's how that works. When you're courtesy patrol for an apartment complex, you are the employee of the residents. So those residents, you're there to protect them. You're there so that they have that ease of mind and just, they can feel safer at home. Now, I think, honestly, I think we need to do away with a lot of these license restrictions and everything. And it's like, okay, if you've served in the military at any point, you shouldn't need to go through guard card training all the damn time. I mean, I think it's like, was it every 2 years or something, or what? Every year, every 2 years. Some states every 4 years, where you have to go back to school basically and relearn how to be a security guard. It's ridiculous. And I mean, look, California. It's a 40-hour training period just to be a security guard. And it's like, it's not even an armed guard. It's just a regular security guard. 40 hours. And that's ridiculous. And then you have to take an exam on power to arrest course. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. Like, I've talked about the laws, like Arizona laws for, citizens arrest and all that stuff, and it's like, as a courtesy patrol officer, you have the same authority as a citizen, but you also have the same authority as a security guard. And with Arizona laws, you have the same authority as a police officer. It's just it's so ridiculous that people don't understand what it all entails. Now, I mean, I've gone on for 18 and a half minutes here, but it all boils down to this. We need to do away with a lot of these security jobs and put it into courtesy jobs. Because as a security guard, you're there to secure and maintain order. But as a courtesy guard or a courtesy patrol officer, you're there providing a service. You're there to help. People see security guards and they go, okay, that's just a wannabe cop. That's somebody that just wants to, have the power and have the authority. A courtesy officer or a courtesy patrol person, they aren't there for power. They're there because they honestly want to help. They want to make the place safer. And that's all that really needs to be happening. And I think we need to switch mindsets and get away from these security jobs and start bringing back the courtesy jobs that do so well. I mean, that's just my point of view. I mean, love it, hate it, I don't care. I mean, hell, courtesy jobs can be done for construction sites as well as a regular business. as long as the person is okay with it. I mean, travel can be covered. Company vehicles. Enough said.